All right, we are back for a weeknight live stream, little RTD and Q&A. Excited to have some returning guests, Mr. Crypto Blood, Mr. Alan Henna, as well as Brandon Kelly whenever he makes his appearance. But we're going to start off right, man. So I'm glad that you guys have some time to catch up with me again and talk politics, crypto, whatever else comes to mind, man. So how everybody doing tonight, man?
I'm good, man. 313. It's cold in the D. 313. It's cold in the D. I'm good, man. Glad to be back on. Always enjoy myself on the show, Mike.
Well, I appreciate you, man, for joining us. So let's we just have a little chit chat behind the scenes, but let's kick it off right now. So I want to appreciate everybody for tuning in. As always, I'm going to open up the chat so we can get some questions or whatnot. And so a lot of things worth talking about in the crypto space as well as beyond that. But we'll go from there. But the last time we spoke was the day before the presidential election, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it? Oh,
I think
the
it was
day
November
before?
2nd, or so, it was the beginning of November.
It was close. It was
close.
Exactly. And I remember saying that, gentlemen, within the next 24 or 48 hours, we could possibly be in a whole nother era of political chaos, and you name it. And so here we are, 30 days later. President-select Biden appears to be the the leading vote getter.
Nonsense, Mike. Absolute nonsense. Can't believe this, man.
But hey,
our country's over, bro.
It is, but we are where we are, and it is what it is for now. We got a couple months left, or a couple days left in this month, and then we'll go into New Year and see what happens. But on the political side of things, are you guys surprised by any of those events that's transpired thus far?
I'll let Hannah go.
Oh, I'm not surprised. I mean, I expected chaos, whether they said Trump won or whether it said Biden won. That's what we're getting. Yeah. And I think it's going to be chaos up to Inauguration Day, assuming it's Biden. As I told y'all before, I didn't really care who won. So right now it looks like Biden's going to win. I haven't seen anything that's going to actually change that other than a bunch of allegations thrown. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm saying I haven't personally seen any evidence of that. So I think Trump is going to, at some point, declare for 2024, he's going to try to steal Biden's thunder. And I was telling you guys, it would not surprise me if he just started campaigning right off the bat. And so I don't think he's going to actually make it to run in 2024. I think Trump has positioned himself in the Republican Party as someone he's like a kingmaker, a endorser. So not only does he now he has probably a good strong majority of Republican Party behind him, he can now turn around and endorse candidates in specific areas. So that gives him clout and power. He can then anoint or say, hey, this person is who I think should do this. And from a Republican perspective, he's going to have that power to throw around. Yeah. And I think ultimately with this age and just the realistic aspect of that, I wouldn't be surprised if he runs early, starting like in 2021, if by 2023 he's just picked someone else. That's what I've been telling my friends. Like whether he's running or not, his endorsement for the Republican Party nomination is going to carry a lot of weight. That's something the Republican Party can't deny.
Yeah. But hey, between now and that time frame, we're going to be in a different America, my friend. Like, I think things could be so bad to where, because if this voter fraud stuff, which I believe is more than likely real, because it's too much stuff just being brought into question to deny it.
Yeah,
if they can get away with it now. They can definitely shape the game to get away with whatever they want to do in the next year or 2 or 3 or 4, to where Trump, doesn't stand a chance. Anything that leads towards anything of making America great or taking us back to what they trying to get us away from, he's gonna have a hell of a fight on his hands, man. So
yeah, that's why I was saying this is a sad day or month or whatever you want to coin it as in America, because as you stated, I believe that is without a shadow of a doubt there. Every election has fraud, right? That's not the point here. The point is there has been some massive collusion going on with different software services, Dominion. And just a lot of stuff statistically. If you take a look at how the numbers spiked up for Biden overnight in the election in multiple key states, it's just no, without a shadow of a doubt that there was some stuff going on. So if we let this slide and Biden gets in, which is, it's a high probability at this point, but if that happens, bro, it's a watershed moment. We probably can't or won't go back from this point now. You know, the Democrats will be able to do their thing. You know, we saw social media was clearly biased pre-election running up into the actual election night. So, you know, we're in a 1984 situation world now, man. It's very sad.
But don't you think we're headed there regardless?
Yeah, but this now shows how blatant it was so blatant this go around. Like I was like, I can't believe more people aren't in the uproar.
Yeah, well, it's all good, all gloves off. They coming out swinging, and everything is allowed right now. You know what I'm saying? Everything is doable.
My whole thing is allow. You know, Trump got more votes than he did last time. There was no blue wave. Okay, Trump got more minority votes this go around. You know, so it just lets you know that he's not as hated as the media tried to portray and paint him out to be. And of course, I've always said this, Mike. You know, Trump is a narcissist. You know, he's him. He's Trump, right? But at least he had an honest agenda. He was literally trying to make America great again, bring a lot of that reliance on China back home. And the powers that be don't like that, man. Yeah. They're globalists.
Yeah, that Build Back Better is to continue the globalist agenda.
And while you guys so my issue was always, as far as is related to the election, is before we even get to election day. And if you really even take it back all the way to 2015, a lot of people forget how much the Republican Party fought Trump before he got the Republican nomination.
Very true.
They didn't really embrace him until right before the Republican National Convention. Remember, because Ted Cruz was still at the end, was still trying to they thought he was the last hope. And Trump was just like a train coming through that, right? Yeah. And so what you see, and you saw that repeated this time with the Democratic primary, that people talk about voter fraud, but to me, part of voter suppression, voter fraud is also the lack of choices. So you have the media, both on Fox Media, MSNBC, CNN, liberal, conservative, whatever, they still have their establishment candidates, right? So they try to ram them down your throat. And what I'm saying is they tried it with Trump. Trump actually made it through, which I think is why a lot of people started to like him. Because Fox was not really that pro-Trump before. They had Ted Cruz was their boy, Jeb Bush was their boy. And then here they did the same thing with Bernie and Clinton. Regardless of what you may think about Bernie and his policies, that's what they did to him. The Democratic Party railroaded him, and then they did the same thing with Biden in this election. So if we're going to be mad about the voting process, it's got to start well before election day. It's got to start with your choices and the candidates that actually make it on that platform.
So I went out to the Independent National Convention in Wyoming, in Cheyenne, about a month and a half ago, just to check it out. I was just interested. And there was a lot of great candidates out there. What they were trying to do is bring together all the kind of ancillary independent, when I say independent, meaning Republican Democratic parties together. That's what they were trying to do. Green Party, Independent, all the parties, bring them to under one consensus. And it was just interesting hearing about how rigged, as you said, Hannah, how rigged the system is, even down to the number of votes that an independent must get to even be on the considered in the race. It's like ballot access. Exactly. Yep. It's like 10 times more than Republican or Democrat. So I agree. That is an issue. Will that change? Probably not. I just feel like both parties are corrupt to a certain extent, right? But I feel like in the last 10 years, I've seen the DNC become so I don't even know, man. It's scary, man. Radical. Yeah, radical. There you go. It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah. And so one of my concerns is that at this current moment, we're witnessing the crumbling of the political structure in general. And I'm concerned with the fact that I'm saying that we may not actually have a presidential election in 2024. if all the extreme measures are pushed through with this, political monetary policy. You got the MMT stuff coming. Between now and then, we definitely have to see outright inflation to where people will become suspicious as to how their lives are changing. And Biden is talking about building back better, providing more jobs for women, men, Black, Latinos. But once again, no one's seen no damn game plan, but he's going to do all this for everybody.
This is what I don't understand, Mike. This guy ran from the basement. They call him Basement Biden. I never heard any solutions. All I heard was Trump this, Trump that. He's this, he's that.
Yeah.
And he won. I just don't. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. You factor in, you got all those ballots popping in and D and down at TCF at Cobo Hall at 3, 4, 5 in the morning. You had a couple 100,000 votes. I mean, hell, we all probably could have got up in that boy.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, man. But I think our country is it's already in trouble. But as you mentioned, in the last 10 years, they've sped things up, I think. So
they even stole it from Bernie. They do stuff in their own camp. They derail their own candidates to push their agenda.
Yeah. Now, I always thought Bernie was extremely radical as far as the whole just push to communism outright with big government, less right, all that stuff like that.
What I'm saying is all the Democrats that I knew were in support of Bernie.
Right. And
where did this whole Biden thing come from?
So my personal opinion on that is that Bernie was an extremist for America. He was not for the whole global agenda. I think literally Biden is willing to sell out our entire country outright. Bernie Sanders still probably wanted to play it his way, with keep it in-house, cause a Weimar Germany type of event just in America and not link up with that global reset agenda as freely as Biden clearly will do if he gets through, because I don't think he's going to do a 4-year term anyway. And so I think Bernie just wasn't, in a part of the global agenda for the most part. So
yeah, agreed.
All right, man. So that's I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I was telling people all the way back in 2016 that, and it sounded crazy, but if you really look at it, I'd say Trump and Bernie have the same message. They're saying the same thing. And it's that I'm going to come in, I'm going to wreck the establishment, and we're going to focus on American workers. Now, you may not have liked the way that Bernie was saying that they should do it, but at the end of the day, Trump and Bernie were saying the same thing.
Yeah.
The establishment is against you. They're not trying to help you. Here's all the reasons why. I'm going to point them all out, and I'm going to change how I do that. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to do all this. Yeah, they were both saying the same thing.
No doubt. Not the only thing I think is different is the way in which they said it, the actual rhetoric they use. So Bernie was saying, I'm going to tax Amazon, Tesla, all the big corporations are going to pay for it. Trump saying, I'm going to cut all their taxes and put it in your or put more in your pocket to where you're going to be able to experience the wealth effect or whatever. So taxing big business and cutting taxes is going to be the two different ways, all towards the same end, of course. So.
But Trump even, would threaten companies here in the States for not bringing stuff back home, right? So that's kind of a tariff type of situation, right? Where he would threaten, like he did a great deal with Apple, got them to bring some of those plants back into Texas, threatened to really mess with them if they hadn't, and then also with the big three. So, yeah, I mean, they kind of, this may sound oxymoronic, but they kind of spoke the same message on opposite sides.
Yeah, no, they really did. I mean, they really did. I really believe that. Yeah.
All right, man. So you guys, we can talk about politics forever, but we are where we're at, and we'll see how things play out. But along the way, the digital transition that they're trying to take us down, take us towards, and so I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on. I think it was yesterday. I'm not sure if it was official. Which source made it official? But Bitcoin, I guess, apparently reached an all-time high, and then it did have a little bit of a correction or whatnot. But is it or was it official that Bitcoin has reached its all-time high? Or no?
I didn't think it was.
No,
no.
So in a lot of cryptos people's heads, it's not whatever that 19,600, 19,000. If it doesn't go up 20,000 and hold, then it's not a new offer.
No, well, Alan, but Alan, it didn't even hit 19,870 something on Coinbase. That was what I was tracking. I think
it did hit 19,900 on Coinbase.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, because there's a guy that's in a chat with me, and he's on Coinbase Pro all the time. and he was getting hyped when that was happening. So
Let me see here.
So just like the political realm.
Yeah, I got it at 19,880, 896.
yeah.
So who officially declares, like the presidential election, who's going to officially declare an all-time high apart from it
I
surpassing
don't
whatever
think
it was?
it matters.
Dominion scorecard, Hammer scorecard, whatever, Hammer and whatever. That's who's gonna do it.
Oh man! But since that time, or leading up to this, where's all the hype and buzz coming from? I don't think it's the crumbling financial system. I don't think it's a part of this so-called recovery that they want to paint as out there. And so is it that everyone's waiting on the big institutions? Like, is Bitcoin all-time high?
That's happening now. That's been happening all this year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, so it's so weird that, you know, if you look at the ethos of crypto, it's like, fuck the banks, screw, you know, like we don't
that was originally that was what it was.
Yeah,
you said what?
Original.
I said originally it was, you know, just bypass the banks.
Exactly.
Now we're like, I'm waiting on the banks.
Right.
So
love
what's
the
been
banks
happening
now.
though is, huh?
Now
I'm saying now is love the banks.
Yeah, I can't wait for the banks to get in.
Right.
But they've been coming in, right?
Yeah.
So they've had corporations, they've had institutions that, because they have to publicly declare because of the regulations with SEC and other sort of bodies in the United States or even overseas, you got to jump through all these hoops. So like yesterday, I think Guggenheim, which is a big institutional company, said they were prepared to allocate up to 500 million potentially for Bitcoin through Grayscale's trust, right?
I saw that. Yeah.
So that's just one of many. You know, a lot of institutions are trying to get some amount of exposure to crypto right now. And that's not just right now, but that's been happening over the last, you know, I would say the last 12 months at least, slowly but surely has been happening.
But so do we actually, or not do we, but does that entity, does the Bitcoin or crypto community as a whole, does it officially need the, you know, those funds to come in from the big institutions to make this to make it what it was intended to be, which was a disruptor?
Hell no.
I mean, no, it's going to work. It's going to work. The technology stack works, whether they come in or not. Now, another question that may be posed is whether or not those institutions are needed for the price to go higher, which is what the greater fool theory is going on. That's basically what it is with Bitcoin. It's a greater fool theory. And that's what many assets. I'm not just picking on Bitcoin, but that's many assets. But so we do need those institutions to come in to pump it up, because your everyday person is not going to be interested in Bitcoin, because the everyday person, I've said this many times on your show, Mike, the everyday person is ill-informed about what money is or isn't. Right. So they have no reason to even go use Bitcoin or buy it or whatnot. They're going to go use Cash App. They're going to go use Venmo. So the institutions are coming in, as Alan said. That's not a problem. And so with that being said, that's the trend the last 12 months. I agree with Alan. That's going to continue. That's going to increase. And therefore, we'll see a price increase in Bitcoin exponentially.
Now, the Bitcoin or the financial wealth gap when it comes to who actually possesses and holds the most coins, and will it be something that can evenly be utilized in a equal fashion? You know, because as of right now, the whales are holding it down, accumulating more, and they're positioning all their entities the same way the banking structure is now, for the pawns to then come in late using their services and their storage, and all the payment on and off ramps is being set up by these same entities that I thought the whole concept was to disrupt is now taking over.
Hold on a second. Now this is where I have issues. You got to talk specifically around specific networks. So you know, this is my biggest problem with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is set up for incumbents and intermediaries to position themselves in the way you're describing, because of the fact that they lack the mechanisms like tokens and smart contracts and other things, so that you can remove intermediaries. So because Bitcoin doesn't have these other mechanisms, you're going to rely on incumbents to do some of these things.
Yeah.
Things like Ethereum, Polkadot, Cardano, things you can build on, smart contracts and tokens. You can remove those intermediaries. You don't really need them, right? So that's always been my biggest issue with Bitcoin since I got into crypto, is that once you look around and you see where this is headed, Bitcoin is really sort of the incumbent's coin, right? Yeah, people talk about XRP as a banker's coin, but really Bitcoin is the incumbent's coin because it still is going to end up with us relying on intermediaries to do certain things. It takes away that optionality. Whereas with Ethereum, it's like, why do you need this organization or entity? We got a smart contract. We lock in our coins. We can get them out. Those are the rules. Yeah, there's going to be bugs and hacks, but that's any software. That just comes with the territory. You're not going to get freedom on Bitcoin. I don't care what anyone tells me. I don't believe that until Bitcoin adds the same mechanisms like Ethereum and Polkadot.
Yeah. Now I'm going to share.
What you end up having, Alan, I think is just what we're already seeing. It's just not. It's in its infancy. Is the Bitcoin Wrapped. So Bitcoin Wrapped is Bitcoin represented on the Ethereum network, right? So now we kind of modularize or compartmentalize Bitcoin onto the Ethereum ecosystem, and now it can play with smart contracts and so on and so forth. So that, I think, will continually be the direction we go, Alan. With Bitcoin.
But let me ask you this: you're crossing a bridge to do that, right?
Yeah.
So this is the way I look at that. If you're going from Bitcoin town to Ethereum town, and you got to cross that bridge every day, at some point you're going to be like, why don't I just live in Ethereum town? Why go through the headache of crossing the bridge when you can just move everything over there to that economy? And that's always been my sort of theory around crypto, is that this is about building an economy with reduced intermediaries, more freedom, more openness. If you can't build that on Bitcoin, Bitcoin and that WBTC, TBTC, RenBTC, all these bridges, but eventually it's kind of like, imagine going to work every day. If you crossing that bridge all the time, eventually you're gonna be like, wait, like, why am I doing this? Why? Yeah, I think eventually these bridges are going to be what people get tired of crossing.
So do you think that
go to Ethereum and get everything?
So do I hear that you think the demand for Bitcoin will go away, or
it's going over a long period of time? Why wouldn't it? What is in an economy, right? If all my business operations are in a better, say, city or town, Ethereum, Polkadot. I'm not like a Ethereum Maximus. I'm just saying Ethereum has the most stuff built on it. Polkadot could do it. Cardano could do it. You build all this stuff, and you can't build on Bitcoin. Why do you need to stay in Bitcoin?
But why? Because Bitcoin is not. It has.
Bitcoin. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Mike.
Bitcoin is being set up as because it's
digital asset.
Yeah, everybody.
Yep.
So, but that concept doesn't make sense.
But I understand that, because there's no replacement for gold itself, because gold is money. Everything else is a derivative to me.
Wow,
but
that's
part of this transition. Listen, as a part of this transition that they want us to go in, what better way to smooth us over and get us over that bridge other than let's go to the digital gold now. And so Bitcoin, as you mentioned before, you see it going away. Bitcoin is being positioned as the 21st, 22nd century version of gold. They're going to use it as an anchor point.
That's by Bitcoin people, though. If I look, if I spend a lot of times reading, and Twitter actually sets this up pretty good. You look at the Bitcoin narratives, and Bitcoin narrative is going to drive the space by and large more because it's the biggest, it's been around the longest. But if you look in the Ethereum space, that narrative out of there is Ethereum is money. They're saying all the same stuff, that Ethereum is not only money, but you can build money Legos, you can build building blocks and things like that. They're not saying like Bitcoin's going to die, but what they're saying is Ethereum is also money too. So I just don't
but Ethereum is not scarce like Bitcoin. So you have that inherent rare,
Why isn't it?
Because the supply of Ethereum is
okay. But you realize that between now and 2140, Bitcoin, Ethereum, a bunch of other coins have inflation? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just about what it's just about the rate of it.
Circulating Bitcoin is going to change. The supply of circulating Ethereum is going to change. The supply of a lot of other coins is going to change for the rest of our lives. Yes or no?
Yeah, but we know it's a finite move with Bitcoin.
That's a
We know the
promise and a
halving.
hope.
We know,
But that's a promise and a hope. We will not validate 21 million Bitcoin until 2140. Those are the facts. That's not hyperbole. Those are the facts. So what anyone who's putting faith, and I'm not saying faith is bad. I'm just saying if you're putting faith in Bitcoin specifically, you are putting faith in something that you won't, probably even your kids won't be able to validate. It's 120 years from now.
But here's the thing,
that sounds,
it's easy to
I'm
throw
not
those
even
numbers
gonna
out
say
saying 10 years from now, 5 years from now, you know, based upon that formulas, the algorithm, the protocols, design.
But it's more faith in code and in math than anything.
No, it's still faith in people. All this stuff is social layer, right? Someone
There's a social layer.
Someone still has to run the machine. Someone still has to pay for the power, right?
Right.
You still need this. Don't forget the social layer.
Think about it. It's too many.
But there's a
between the
there's a social layer with every asset class.
Huh?
I agree, and that's what I'm saying.
What are you talking about? What?
I was saying that Alan was saying that there's a social layer that we shouldn't forget about with Bitcoin. But I said, hey, there's a social layer with every asset class.
I agree.
You need people for perceived value, right?
Yeah.
Right. And all I'm saying is, listen, this is not a tomorrow thing. I'm just saying eventually we're going to have these economies running on these different networks and these chains. And I mean, there's a lot of argument to be made that something that's disinflationary or deflationary is not automatically better than something that's inflationary. My argument is that it's really about the transparency of what the protocol says versus, oh, it's only this fixed number, right? Because there's a lot of arguments and trade-offs with inflation, deflation, disinflation, all these different sort of economic monetary supply concepts that you can argue for each one. So this whole mantra that
you sure can
21 million is like perfect. No, that's nonsense, right? There's a benefit.
So I don't think it's nonsense, but I do agree that there are pros and cons for having something that's inflationary and versus having something deflationary. So a currency that is going to be utilized for a nation, to me, needs to have some slight form of inflation.
But we're going to get that. We're going to get that with Bitcoin. There's more Bitcoin coming every block. There's more Ethereum coming every block.
But there's less of it every halving.
Okay, so here's an example. Let me tell you, do you know what EIP 1559 is?
I don't know that particular one, no.
Okay, so Ethereum has essentially an improvement, like, you know, Bitcoin has BIPs, Ethereum has EIPs. This one basically says that they're going to burn all these gas fees and everything. They're going to start burning them. So at a certain level, once this gets implemented, and it's supposed to be implemented next year, you're actually going to have Ethereum turn into more deflationary. So the more activity is on Ethereum, it's actually going to end up project very easily based on current usage, and actually lower inflation rate than Bitcoin moving forward. Look into it.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely check out that ETH, but I mean, you know, it's no guarantee that that's going to be passed, because I don't know if I would like a deflationary Ethereum token.
Well, that's happening. That's going to happen.
I don't know if that'll be good for the ecosystem from a smart blockchain, smart contract perspective, but I'll definitely check that one out.
Yeah, look into it. I'm not saying it's perfect, because I'm not saying that inflation is better than deflation. All I'm saying is that these narratives are very powerful. These narratives are what help people who don't get into the details, like understand it, which is fine. Like, I'm not judging any of the narratives. Eventually, reality needs to take hold, right?
Yeah. But the point about the inflation deflation argument, I see, to me, Mike, in the precious metals community, I see that narrative pushed a lot, like deflation is better, you know, having a deflationary asset is better. There again, like Alan said, there are pros and cons to that. If we had a deflationary currency in our government, or you know, as our monetary, it would be horrible, because we've had that situation before with gold being the gold standard. It doesn't solve everything. There are issues with being the gold standard and having a deflationary currency.
Yeah, but the issue was just the price of your everyday goods and service and cost of living in general. Like from during a gold standard or a bimetallic standard, the cost of living and existing was relatively stable.
Yeah.
Once we lost that peg, there was no.
The issue is expansion.
Yeah.
Economic expansion doesn't happen. Like business development and cycles don't happen as great as easily in a deflationary environment or monetary system as it does in an inflationary.
No doubt. But during that same time frame, we still were entering out of the agricultural age into the industrial age, and things were starting to pick up and to blossom into the day and era that we have now, in a sense. So I think we were on track to continue to advance technology wise, but you know, now we're in a computer system, so there's no going back to what we used to have, for sure.
Well,
what were you gonna say, Alan?
My problem with gold and the whole deflationary aspect of it is that it assumes, the biggest problem for me with deflation is that it's a time relative sort of benefit. For instance, we're alive now, so it's easier for us to get, say, Bitcoin now. I'm going to put gold to the side because the inflation rate is higher than it's going to be in 4 years, right? So the whole idea that inflationary is good is that if you get in early, then you get to build up your sort of incumbent status, and that lets you leverage and leverage and power over time. Because if the supply and monetary just continues to decline or even stay flat, it's just harder to get. Basically, once you get that power, it's easier to keep it because you know that monetary sort of base isn't expanding. So you're able to, that's how you get kings and all these legacies and everything passed down. It's the same sort of problem, right? And my issue with gold specifically has always been that it still requires trust on a counterparty. That's what really drew me to crypto, is that, yeah, I got a lot of problems with Bitcoin and just its use in an economy, but at the end of the day, money and currency are bound together, right? I don't need to trust that some central bank or government is only going to issue the amount of currency relative to the amount of gold or other precious metals that it has on deposit or in reserve somewhere. That's the problem we have today, because look at the history, right? You went from the Federal Reserve to Bretton Woods to Nixon in 71, and just complete chaos from that. It's all like along the way, it's like, trust me, trust me, trust me. Well, look at what we have today. And that's the last thing we want, is to go back to a gold standard, because that just brings us straight back to trusting someone again.
I would not suggest going backwards towards a gold or silver standard whatsoever, but yet I would suggest that we have the option to choose what we want without any centralized source of or mediator telling us what to do.
When you
but
say
of course,
choose,
that can happen. Say again.
What do you mean when you say choose?
Choice.
You say choose what we want.
So I would rather. So if we could have prior to the Nixon removing the gold peg, we had, I think, a total of maybe 5 or 6 different circulating legal tenders that could be utilized in this country. So we had gold, silver coins, gold, silver certificates. We had treasury notes. We had United States notes, and bank notes prior to that. So people had options to use whatever they want, but we were dwindled down now to just paper notes and a debit card, and with now the introduction of a central bank digital currency coming next. So we have one or two options to choose, which I think is going to be further suppressed pretty soon. So giving people the option of being able to spend their metals if they choose to, and save and store their wealth in metals, or Bitcoin, Litecoin, whatever platform you choose, or hell, seeds, cigarettes, whatever the hell you want to use, if somebody's willing to accept it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I agree.
That'd be worthwhile, but it's not going to be ideal.
Yep.
So my question for you guys,
probably agree on that.
Why? So do you think that this push by Grayscale and all the other people to get people to sell their gold, a lot of people now apparently are selling their gold to get into Bitcoin with the lure of it's going to increase exponentially over time way faster than gold will. So drop gold and gold is old, get the new digital gold, like that narrative. Like, why are they setting people up? Why
Greatest fool theory?
Huh?
Greatest fool theory. Like if
They
they're
want
putting,
money, man.
yeah, like if they put their money in there, they want other people to put theirs in there so that they can sell it to the next person coming in at a higher price.
Yeah,
It just is what it is, you know. But I agree with them though. I've been saying this for 7 years, Mike. Bitcoin has outperformed gold. Gold will never catch up to Bitcoin's performance.
well, it's over.
I don't doubt it.
It's over.
It's
a wrap.
But here's
It's
the
a
thing.
wrap, right?
Here's the thing. At the end of the day, as we move closer towards this mandated central bank digital transition, automatically, a lot of people are going to wish they still were able to hold on to something physical that is still valuable as far as you've been able to exchange it.
I don't think so.
No, no, man.
No.
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 Are you longing
No.
to hold on to a DVD? Are you longing to hold on to a CD?
I'm not
or a
longing
picture?
to hold on to it, but because I recognize they're old antiques, I'll still hold on. It'll still go for something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not saying it's
No,
worthless. I'm
man.
just saying, like, you gotta look at the generational sort of curve that's coming, right? You have a generation that just isn't even used to getting any attachment to physical objects, right? Everything they've grown up with has been on a phone, a tablet, pictures. I mean, I grew up when we used to take pictures, and you know, I got a bunch of pictures here, right? These kids today, they just gonna like, here's my Google Drive or whatever, and they just pull it up on their phone and look at that. So
Hell, they take pictures nowadays and they disappear in 10 seconds.
yeah,
They don't even keep pictures.
You don't want it to exist.
Snapchat, man. I'm not even on that, but that, you know, he's right. He's right, man. These kids are.
But I get
That's
your
the
drift,
trend,
man.
Mike.
And it's just concerning to me overall, given that we will be the last generation of people to actually appreciate the idea of having something that we can conceal and nobody know it exists right here. It's just something we can tuck away. And if I need it at the end of the day, I can go sell it and give to somebody. Whereas opposed to now, everything is gonna come through this thing right here. You know what I'm saying?
But there was a last generation of people who rode buggies too. Like it is.
I'm not complaining about the transition. It's just a matter of what you say?
I say go down. If you want a buggy ride, you can still go get one downtown.
I don't want a buggy ride. I'm not complaining. I'm just mentioning I still like the idea of being able to hold something. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. I mean, maybe you guys can go solely digital. I want to hold something.
That's a generational thing, man. I'm
we're the last generation, and I'm the last person out of us three that don't mind, that don't want to give up that right to hold something. You know what I'm saying?
But
so
this
I'm
is
my damn self.
This is my concern with like the whole gold is money or silver. First of all, I recognize the commodity value of gold and silver.
Sure,
it's got industrial use. It's got that. Like I think a lot of times when, especially if I'm on Twitter, I you know, Peter Schiff's out there, who I respect a lot from him. When you're going at him about gold, you know, people think you're talking about gold is worthless. No, I'm saying gold is, I'm saying gold is money is not practical, but gold is a commodity. Yeah, I mean, of course, silver is a commodity, of course. But practically today, how are you going to run any economy on gold? And I always worry about, like, say if things are actually crazy or messed up. The last thing I want is to be walking around with gold, like, anywhere.
But more than likely, but here's the thing, because majority of people don't know what it is or even suspect that you would even have anything on you, they're gonna ask you for your cell phone first. They're gonna stick you up and say, give me your phone. And
okay.
Keep the gold. I don't want that. Give me your phone. Okay, sure. Okay. Take my, you know what I'm saying? So as time goes forward, there'll be less of an understanding as to what money was anyway, as opposed to this digital transformation. So that's all I'm saying. But I think they both will coexist. Some prefer to have weight, some prefer to have the digits. Having both, I think, is a great game plan. But but anyway, so let's move on, man. We can talk about this back and forth. I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on Ethereum 2.0 today, is apparently launching today.
Phase zero is launching.
Phase zero. So they met their quota.
Phase zero. I ain't even going there with that argument. I'm not even gonna touch on that one.
They met
Phase
their quota.
Zero.
They met their quota of what was needed to stake. Now, is that the beginning of something that it's extremely exciting, or is it too late in the game because you got all those polka dots, Cardanos, or is it enough to go around?
It's not too late. It's not too late because those guys didn't take advantage of the last. They've been working on ETH2 since 2015.
Yeah.
So no one came in that gap. No one took advantage of that, or maybe they tried to, and the market just rejected it. But so no, it's not too late. ETH2 is phase zero is here. It's how long will it be until we see ETH2 as we've been as it's been marketed to us? I don't know. Another 2 years, 3 years, possibly. But no, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah. So
yeah, I think it's a good direction, good step in the right direction.
Now, with the other program, with the other projects out there, of course, there's new projects coming online all the time. Unless you actually focus on the sector, you might miss out on some opportunities. So with all the Cardanos, I guess I was watching an interview today, and they're doing some promising things, trying to make it easy to convert all those ERC20s with just a click of a button. So what's the likelihood, and is it necessary for a lot of those projects out there to operate on a variety of different blockchains?
Yeah, I think cross-chain is going to be a big narrative like for 2022. I think it's going to take all of 2021 for Cardano and Polkadot to get enough stuff out there to make people interested, like developers go build stuff. People have heard about these different chains, but then actually go use and build stuff. So by then, Ethereum is going to continue to grow. So you're going to get this sort of Cosmos and Binance chain and all this stuff. And by 2022, I think we'll be talking about things like cross-chain liquidity, which is basically cross-chain access. If I have this here, how do I make sure it appears on all the networks, like an NFT and all the networks the same way? So, I mean, to kind of go back to what you asked earlier, it is super early. You shouldn't think that, first of all, get rid of the zero-sum sort of mindset.
Right. I agree.
You got to get rid of that. There's no one point them all. We still under a $1 trillion market cap. I think this market is going to more than 10x over the next 5 years, easy. So if you're thinking about coins and networks 10x, and there's plenty of room for a lot of platforms to grow. And they're not going to, Cardano, when you listen to Charles Hoskinson's talk, he's talking about interoperability. He's not like, we about to go eat Ethereum, or we about to kill Polkadot or Litecoin. He's like, how do we build these bridges, so that everyone can, maybe something gets built quicker over here, or maybe something gets built quicker over here. Right. Not saying there wasn't competition, but I think it's going to be a healthy competition. Yeah. And a lot of growth and a lot of people coming into these different networks.
Yeah. Now, also with that, with the regulation side of things, I was going to pull up an article about the Coinbase mentioning that the Treasury is trying to now pass some type of legislation about the wallet stuff. So I would imagine between now and the time, say, the crypto market reaches, $1 trillion plus heavily, that there might be some regulation out there to try to derail that growth. Now, as the crypto space grows, I would imagine that Uncle Sam and all those other entities want to definitely know what you're holding on to and how, what, where, when. Can that not slow things down, but make it a little bit less enticing for people to really appreciate and utilize those gains? Because it's going to be heavily. I mean, apart from the taxation side of things, Biden gonna definitely increase. They're gonna try to clamp down, man, and make it a challenge. So
okay, this is sort of how I look at it. They're gonna try, but there's certain things you can't force. Like, you can't force somebody to make a wallet non-custodial, right? They're just gonna open source it and be like, here, and then everybody's just gonna make their own non-custodial wallets. Non-custodial wallets that interact with the network, which can't be controlled by anyone, and that's for any of these networks, right? Yeah. I think what's going to happen though, even if they do that KYC thing that I think Brian Armstrong from Coinbase was talking about, they do something like that. eventually what's going to happen is, I mean, the US dollar is going to fall apart. Let's not fool ourselves, right? So what will happen in that scenario is that I think that as the dollar sort of falls apart, we're already going to have an alternative system, right? And people are just, you'll get more economic activity on the other side of that ramp, right? So really the last sort of, the final boss, there's two final bosses to me for crypto. There's the fiat on and off ramp, and then it's the governments, right? So if we build up enough economic activity without having to get back into like the dollar fiat world, if we build up enough economic activity, not necessarily United States, because I think United States has sort of like the longest sort of path, but I'm just going to pick on Venezuela for a second, or other countries with poor fiat systems. One of these guys is going to be like, hold on, like, why don't we just use crypto as our money, right? And we turn our economy to getting more crypto. We turn our economy to doing this and that. And that's going to start that sort of shift. So along with the answer, I think they could try it. And I think it's just going to push more economic activity on the other side of that ramp. So you're like, well, how do I conduct business so I don't even need to get off into the fiat world? I don't even have, like, I can just stay over here in the crypto world, in DeFi and all these other networks. And I mean, that's
going to be a problem for them. So that's going to be a problem for governments if we begin to close that loop, right? If we start to be self-sufficient within the ecosystem, that's going to be a problem for them, because if we're no longer looking to swap for their dollars, their Federal Reserve notes, it's going to be a problem.
And so once again, between now and the time this thing really takes off, I strongly believe that CBDC concept will be out and available on our phones, and we will be incentivized and encouraged to use it, because
they made, Mike, I envision an airdrop. I envision the government's doing an airdrop. That'll get all the sheeple. You tell me you're gonna give me $1,500 of CBDC, I'm there. I'm going to USPS tomorrow. Pookie and them gone. They already there.
You're right.
No, but seriously, that's what I see happening.
Yeah.
So adoption is going to happen very quickly. I think in the next 2-3 years.
Yeah. So that's I'm interested to see how it plays out. And in the meantime, the sector will continue to grow and expand. The financial institutions will have their everything set. All the hedge funds, all the big whales, all the rich families will have their bags full. And then the government gonna come in and try to drain the crumbs out of the regular people's hand, regular individuals' hands. So, typical fashion of this prior monetary system. We just probably enter into it again. Now,
but this time will be different, though. That's the initial.
How so, man?
By them, because you can't ring fence this. You can't ring fence this technology, Mike. You can't do it. You can try, they will try, and it may have huge impacts in the short run on price of a lot of this stuff. But you look 20 years out. No, there's no way to ring fence it. Too many ways to obfuscate your transactions, to all that stuff, man. So we're entering a new era of monetary of money. Of money.
Now, do you see there being a time in this current environment, because when regulation looks to ramp up and they crack down on people, do you see the concept of privacy coins and more privacy focused projects coming about? Like I saw just recently, Tezos just added the Zcash or the Zsnark thing to their blockchain.
Look at Mike.
I try to stay up on stuff, man.
I'm like, okay.
I try to stay up on this stuff because I am interested.
Rethinking the crypto is a new name of his channel, boy.
Right.
So watch this. Like the Cardanos, the Polka Dots, all those chains there. Do you think they're going to be forced to incorporate some type of privacy feature if they start being
forced? They're already.
It's open source. You can add a layer on top of that, any of those protocols, and do it. That's what I'm saying. It's permissionless.
Yeah. I think what'll happen is the privacy coins are actually, I think, they're too targeted. So what I mean by that is if you look at any privacy coin implementation, you could really just port that to, you can say, oh, like I could probably bring this to a smart contract, or I could just build it into the base protocol of this other chain. Cardano could do it. Like a lot of chains could figure out how to do this. You look at Secret Network, which is literally just a network specifically for private transactions, and you can build dApps and smart contracts and things like that on there, right? That stuff is going to continue to iterate as the market demands it. But I think a lot of this stuff is going to be driven like through things like Tornado.cash expanding, Aztec protocol expanding. Just even going on L2s could end up being some form of privacy because of the way that they do the transaction bundling. You won't even be able to unwind it. You just get to verify the transaction and just show that it's legit, but you don't really see the in between. So the privacy aspect is probably a lot better than you think.
Right.
Yeah. Now, somebody in the chat, as always, we're streaming live. So if you got any questions or thoughts about any particular projects or whatnot, feel free to ask. But somebody just mentioned, you know, Mike, if you don't have any electricity, you don't have any cryptocurrency.
Listen, if you ain't got no electricity, bro, crypto is the last problem. Because most the people that's saying that probably don't have more than $100 in their pocket. So you in trouble too.
But I think without electricity, you got bigger problems. You got bigger problems. That's always the go-to. Like, you know, if you don't have no electricity, you really want to meet up with random people to conduct gold-based transactions. Come on, man.
Right. And
we won't be able to. We're gonna use a CB radio. You can't contact them if there's no electricity. I can't call the person. I can't get on. Come on, that, like I said, that's not a good argument there.
One of the biggest things is if there was to be a power outage or something of that nature, it wouldn't be long term, just because they want to implement the central bank digital currencies for their own sake, meaning governments, as well as this whole one world government crap that they're trying to do. So they need electricity to do that. Now, here's something else I want to throw out there that was brought to my attention by Bo Pony and Greg Hunter in their last interview, where Bo Pony, towards the end of his little spiel, mentioned he's out there. He's out there,
Mike.
But
I don't know who it is.
So a guy named Bo Pony. Have you interviewed him?
I haven't. No, but
I have years ago.
I know who Greg Hunter is. I don't know who that is.
I know Greg.
He uses the Bible and his gifting is time analysis. So he tries to take scripture and put it to time and tell us where we're at in the seasons, whatever. And he does TA stuff as well. But anyway, one of the things he's mentioning was how as we usher into this one world governmental structure, which is in our future, according to the Bible, that the internet itself will be something that they will use to regulate and oversee this entire transition to where it will not be the World Wide Web as freely used as it is now. You're gonna have to log in and have special permission to log in to access certain things according to what they want.
That ain't gonna happen, man.
Okay. So it's not likely. It's not possible. Given the fact Obama transferred the power of the internet according to I don't know the details, but it was given to the UN. So the UN has the keys to the World Wide Web, and of course, from that region is going to come all the stuff that they want to orchestrate for the world. So it's not something that's completely ridiculous.
It is possible, Alan. It is possible.
No, listen.
Possible and probable, though. Possible and probable, two separate things.
I know that. Yeah. And I'll tell you, I don't think it's possible, and I'll tell you why. They're building alternative versions. You look at mesh networks,
right?
All these different ways that they're protocols, communication protocols, not like crypto, but like ways for different machines and devices to communicate with each other on different protocols.
And quantum internet too, where it's non-locale, it's non-locale. So it's instantaneous.
All those features are great, but they come from the same people that's trying to dictate our future. So you still got to log in somewhere. Your TV fridge automatically can sync to it. But for your personal usage, you gotta use your phone or the chip in your phone or the chip in your brain, whatever they're trying to do to try to connect you to. That crazy stuff. I go crazy, Alan.
But chip in the brain is Tesla.
You have to log in, right? And you have to have permission to log in. Therefore, everything you do and see and try to interact with will be under surveillance, even more so than it is now.
I agree. We're definitely headed towards more surveillance. Listen, whether it's the government, this is the craziest part to me about people and their fear of governments. It's like you got the government and you got corporations. Both of them are all about trying to surveil you. Like, it doesn't matter.
Very true.
I don't find absolutely
the enemies on both sides of the border. Yeah.
Like, the government is trying to find out what you're doing. Well, I don't feel better that Amazon, Google, and Facebook know this. Why do I? Like, what makes them better? In fact, I'm not like, this is going to sound. At least the government's sort of duty is supposed to be to the people, but Amazon's duty, Facebook's duty, Google's, whoever, is to their shareholders, right? And if you just go down to like the pureness of it, what's the intent? I'm not saying the execution is anything good. In theory, the government should be better. So I don't know why we put all this trust. I'm not saying trust either. I'm just saying I don't know why there's this sort of, oh well, yeah, we got bad government, but yeah, Amazon and all these other companies, which actually have the ability, because they're better than the government, to surveil, to mine, to look at that social dilemma and all the behavioral analytics. Do you think the government's doing that?
No. The government contracts out Amazon. The government pays Amazon and all those server networks programs to do all their dirty work for them. So Amazon is storing everything for the government anyway, and NASA and NSA and all of that.
That's fine, but my point is, don't find any sort of comfort in corporations because their duty is not to people. And there's nothing that should make you believe that they're any better than the government. You need to start looking at them as like Siamese twins, if anything.
Yeah, I agree, and that's why I'm concerned with just the entry ramp onto the internet 5-10 years from now. If they succeed in this global reset, bringing everybody together.
Possible. I'll agree with Crypto Blood. It's possible. It's possible.
It's possible, man.
So that could be a weak link down to all those plans of thinking about 5-10 years from now, the blockchain, the supply gonna be, all that stuff.
But again, that's the same argument with the lights out one. Like, if we go that far, that's Bitcoin is the least of our problem.
I'm just saying the blockchain protocol, cryptocurrency space in general, because I think this could be the window to transition us into that solely central bank digital world that they want, alleviating competition. I think they're going to use the internet possibly as a way of creating more issues.
That's going to be harder than you think, though. That's what I'm going to tell you.
On top of the quantum computers they already have that they ain't told nobody about. So it's out there.
Hold on, man.
And watch this. I don't have to worry about quantum computers. I don't have to worry about the internet. I don't have to worry.
Hold on, man. Hold on.
You talking about quantum? Listen, let me tell you something right now.
Ain't no quantum computer
going. Hold on, man. I'm about to log it off.
There's no secret key. There's no key phrase on the other side of this coin. I had to throw that out there.
What you gotta say, Alan?
Ain't no 24-word phrase on the other side of this coin.
If they can break, say, Bitcoin's encryption or Ethereum or whatever, it don't matter. They can break everything. Like, they're all using the same algorithms, pretty much, at the end of the day. So if they got quantum computers the way you think, and they can use them in the way you think, then there's somebody out there with absolute power.
No doubt.
Especially in this world right now.
Here's my concern. Like, I've been watching, China's development. It's apparently they're competing with the fastest computer and all the technical stuff over there, and then IBM got one. So they're trying to accumulate the power to do such. Now it's a matter of who has it first, and we'll see. But unfortunately, the smaller fries in the whole equation, we're just going to be victims of whatever they try to throw out there. But I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on Libra. So it looks like Libra, I guess, is coming next month or rebranding to something. I've been reading
something new.
They're rebranding it to another name, and it's supposed to drop or be rolled out of somewhat next month.
Is that the Facebook pay or F2 thing?
I don't know the details. I just heard I see people talking about it. But okay, so we've been talking about this for a while now. Libra, so Facebook is a global company, yada yada yada. So where do they fit in this equation of either issuing a stable coin backed by a basket of coins, or how does this still play out for them? And will the government use them to their advantage?
Well, a stable coin is not so the threat is having multiple stable coins in that basket that represents their new token. To me, that's where the issue is. Like if it was just dollar, then it wouldn't be a problem because they would, I mean, demand is be dollar for dollar, be $1 demand equal $1 supply.
Yeah.
But seeing that it's a basket, I don't know the details on the new project, Mike, but if it's a basket, then the US is not going to be too happy about that, because they want all demand to be their dollar.
Yeah. So I always thought that Facebook and the government were in the same and operating the same interest, but I think we'll get a chance to see if they are or not, depending on how this is rolled out and whether or not the government allows it to take place. But yet we got all those other nations talking about their central bank digital currencies, but it's all in the making, man. So, and then Amazon, I'm sure, will come out with their own coin.
Well, that's always been the way I've looked at this whole money game.
Mm-hmm.
You got government money, and that's fiat. You got crypto, and that's public open money. It's more like, anyone can engage or whatever. And then you got corporate money, which is Libra, and I'm sure Amazon or whatever. And really, you could really say that things like frequent flyer miles, these reward points, all these are really forms of value. I mean, this is all value systems, right?
Yeah.
There's this restaurant Sheets here that I go to sometimes when I'm lazy, and it's just like I got these points, and I can get a free medium fry or whatever. That's money, right?
Yeah.
It's got value. I can get something for it. So these are just really early stages of what I think different sort of money games where you have corporations, crypto, and fiat money just sort of going to be fighting with each other. At the same time, corporations know that they can't really take over crypto, but they can definitely influence governments. And I can see the governments and corporations creating some sort of via Facebook, some sort of deal that, hey, you include some portion into this basket, and the corporate money starts taking over, just like corporations taking over freaking everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's why me and Crypto Blood always say like this is different with Bitcoin. We actually have an opportunity to build an alternative system that's not dependent on that sort of sick sort of pairing between the corporations and government.
Yeah. Ultimately fascism, that's what's coming.
Yeah, man. So I see people saying Libra is going to be backed by USDC. And so do you guys think
what else? Is that it? Is it just USDC?
I'm not, I mean, other than just seeing the comment here, it mentioned as if that's fact. So I don't know. But
I doubt it. I doubt it.
You doubt it?
I'm gonna have to look into it. I don't want to. It still says, yeah. And I didn't even know about this, so I want to have to look into it to see what it says, what it's backed by. I can't imagine it just being $1. I just can't.
That would be, to me, the only scenario that the government would allow.
Yeah, that's a valid point. That's true.
Yeah. Because any basket, Mike, is going to again take away from the demand.
Yeah,
but it's a Swiss authority. So I'm just reading what's on CoinDesk. Libra is ready to launch its first stable coin, the Diem dollar, as soon as the new entity is licensed through the Swiss Financial Market Supervisory Authority, FINMA. So it doesn't even sound like it's got anything to do with the U.S. government.
Yeah.
So how will it be utilized here or allowed to be used here or not? Because they still got 300-some million people in this country that use Facebook. They're not going to mess out on that. So I can imagine being country to country, like they use USD here, the Swiss franc there.
I see the U.S. not allowing it. I mean, we don't allow a lot of stuff. Actually, you look at what other countries are able to do, their citizens be able to do financially. They're actually more free than we are. What's a lot of stuff we can't do as U.S. citizens? So
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see.
Good points, man. All right, well, gentlemen, at the hour point, man, I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on any particular projects that you are taking an eye on, excited about. So a lot of people here are excited about XRP, given the last couple days or weeks.
Oh my God, that's a whole nother live stream, Mike. Man, take your profits, people. Take the profits and run, please. Crypto Blood is telling you.
This is how I look at XRP. I look at XRP like I look at anything that you can, until you can build on top of some smart contracts, tokens, and all that. I don't even care about you. So I put XRP into the Litecoin bucket. You know, like, why are you here? You know, so that's how I look at it. Now, a lot of people get that hope because it's, I don't know what it is, 50 cents, 60 cents, something like that. And then somebody on Reddit or on Twitter or Facebook is like, I'm hearing it's going to $100, and you like, well, shoot, wait a minute. If I get 100 of these, and then it goes to 100, but then you got to look at the market cap.
Market cap, exactly. People, look at the market cap of that coin. Look how many coins are out there. They're outstanding, that are float. You can't have $100 XRP. It just wouldn't make sense. But
fair enough, man. Well, hey, that's good, man. We can end on a note there, man. What else? But somebody says tokenomics are good.
Yeah, they are. They're very important. So
yeah, they're very
XRP
important.
got 1 trillion tokens or a couple 100 billion. Come on, man. Look, they're not. Ripple does. Listen, first of all, the Ripple technology, I actually looked into it a lot.
Great.
Ripple as a technology is actually
Ripple as the company is great. Yep.
Yeah, Ripple.
They've been acquiring a lot of companies in the last 24 months, man. They're doing well, but you got to understand what Ripple is about. It's a VC funded organization. So they're going to be fine. They're going to have a nice exit. They may even go public one day. I can see that happening.
Yeah.
But the coin XRP, no, guys, they're using you guys. They're selling the coins, going to purchase real assets. They're just using the people that are hodlers, man.
You're the liquidity. You're using your liquidity so that they can essentially turn over and run their Ripple business on top of it. Right. And then maybe some, you know, like really Ripple's or XRP's entire value proposition got wiped out by all the stable coins. And stable coins are just going to continue to progress and become more part of the crypto ecosystem. So XRP really is just like, I don't know. You know, like I just don't see it.
How about Stellar
100%.
Lumens?
What about what?
Stellar Lumens. The XRP founder.
Better governance, better, but
yeah,
better team.
So I saw that they're looking to have a Argentina peso stable coin and a Brazilian real stable coin. So they're looking to try to CBDC type stuff, which kind of got me thinking that perhaps XRP might be the coin that's used, or not XRP, but Stellar XRX, was it XMR, might be the coin used by central banks. And then you got Acoin is going to be used on Stellar as well. He's trying to build his own city.
No.
So
listen. None of that. No. If listen, stablecoin can appear on Ethereum, Cardano, whatever, just as easily as it can appear on XLM. In fact, I'd be willing to bet that however they're creating these stablecoins now, whatever that mechanism, it's just a peg to a different basis, right? And it's still basing under the dollar. So in fact, if you have stablecoins for the dollar and everything pegs to the dollar anyway, it doesn't really, you're really not doing anything. Now, I know you can build on Stellar. Like, I know they got some smart contracts and stuff.
They do. Yeah.
But who's going there to build? You know,
no one at the moment.
But my thing is, I believe that Stellar is in bed with the government, and the government will use Stellar for whatever, because
they don't need to.
I don't foresee the Federal Reserve and MIT coming up with their own blockchain to be used for the CBDCs.
Oh yeah, no, it will be.
You think so?
Oh yeah, they're going to do proprietary stuff, Mike. Whenever you're dealing with governments and money, that's going to be proprietary.
I don't know. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you two reasons why. One, you look at consensus and quorum. Quorum is really just an enterprise / private / government chain version
of Ethereum. Right.
And JPM coin.
That's proprietary. So they've taken the open source, you know, and made it private and tweaked it and did.
So there's that. And I actually got a job. I'm not going to get into the specifics, but a very interesting company. They're looking for a lot of people in the blockchain space And
Alan didn't flipped on us, Mike.
no, hold on. But I was reading the job description, and knowing the history of this company, I was like, wow, because Ethereum was explicitly mentioned. Ethereum was explicitly mentioned.
Yeah, but it was probably. But the thing is, Ethereum, as in using Solidity, right? So, like, you take like Hyperledger.
No, dude. I'm telling you, that's not. It wasn't like that.
We didn't lost another one, Mike. We're gonna be watching CNBC and see Mike up there next to Janet yelling like.
No. All I'm saying is, I can see them using something like Ethereum because it's already got so many of the mechanisms. Could they use XLM Stellar? They definitely could. I'm not saying they won't.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's an interview with, I don't know, it was Laura Shin. Somebody was interviewing.
Oh, did his volume just go out?
Your volume just went out, Mike. I mean, Alan.
Oh, it did?
Oh, there we go.
Back now
it's back.
Okay. Lubin, who is like the CEO and founder of Consensus, right? There was an interview about 2 to 3 months ago where he was getting interviewed. I think it was with Laura Shin, who does like Unchained or something like that. It's a really good episode. You should listen to it because he gets into some of the Ethereum, but like more private government, other stuff they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Just his answers were real cagey and real like, I can't answer that, but without saying it, you should really listen. So it just made me think like whatever's going on with Quorum, and they bought that back from JPM, but JPM got their coin, and it just seems like just his responses and everything that, in fact, I don't know, was it Chase or JPM that made an investment in Consensus? You got to look at that. Just listen. You're going to look at those names. Look up like JP Morgan Chase, Ethereum, Consensus. Like one made a investment in the other, and then Consensus bought Quorum back from JPM. It's just like they're doing something.
They got something going on. So it's a possibility that there might be a uniquely created platform for them to use, or they might actually just to emergency-wise roll something out. It could be a generic open source type of thing, possibly.
Yeah.
Modified or doctored.
Yeah.
Okay. So we get ready to call this short, guy. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. So somebody said here the black dollar coin. Anybody heard of that? Is that something for real?
No, I haven't heard of it.
Never heard of that one.
So I'm assuming that's a new project, but they're saying that it's going to end racism and enrich black communities. So I don't think.
Oh my God.
It was a super chat, so I had to throw it out there, man. But I appreciate the super chat.
Yeah, you gotta.
I gotta
ask the super chat ones, bro.
So I appreciate that thought, but I'm assuming they're trying to promote that idea, but it's probably not out yet. But anyway, man, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight, man. As always,
yeah, man,
it's been good. I put everybody's locate where they can find everybody, where they can find you guys at beneath this.
BK, we miss you, man. What happened? You still out there on the strip?
Where's low blood pressure? Every time I'm on here, he got something.
I saw low blood pressure in there.
He's out there, man. He's out there.
Okay.
He's out there. I saw him on there earlier, man.
He said he wouldn't mind. He said, Mike. He said he wouldn't mind a rethinking the crypto channel. That's what he said in the comments.
Yeah, that'd be something worthwhile. I wouldn't mind looking into that because I know you guys are highly focused on this particular subject matter. I follow it casually, but I love connecting to further learn and just to be the skeptic out in the room because I think these tough talks are needed.
That's good. Absolutely.
That's why I appreciate it, man. But
absolutely.
All right, gentlemen, well, you guys be blessed, man. Have a great Christmas, and let's do this again at the beginning of 2021. And let's see where we at and have some fun, man. I appreciate you guys hanging out.
All right, peace.
All right, gentlemen.